Oh, None Demand Everything podcast. I'm your host, General Hill. I have the very professional, the very beautiful Indigo Brown from Chicago, Illinois.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Welcome in.
Hello.
So let's get right into it.
Gotcha.
I want to know a little bit about the story. I know you have a background in a lot of different areas of business.
Yes. So I'm an interactive life skills coach. I create life plans that are based on what people are experiencing. So, everyone's going through whatever their life lesson is, whatever their trial or tribulation is. I help people kind of see where they're going wrong, or maybe call out the red flags that they're trying to avoid, and maybe give them a more detailed approach to how to see those triggers, those red flags, point them out for themselves, and handle it right then and there. Like, there's no moving forward. There's no living in the past. There's just living in the moment and dealing with what they have control over at that time. So I like to teach people how to find a new way of thinking, maybe thinking outside of the box, getting out of their comfort zone, even challenging where they're comfortable, and get them out of that comfortability, because a lot of the times people like to stay stagnant and not want to move and change. And I kind of force them to have to make that change by interactive approaches.
Okay, so it sounds like you're a life coach.
I'm an interactive life skills coach, yes.
Okay, life skills. So break down the actual difference between that as far as being a traditional life coach versus what you just said.
So a regular traditional coach, someone comes and says, hey, I have some issues, and, how can you help me to create a plan that helps me to break some of these habits, or maybe change the way I think a bit. But since I'm an interactive life skills coach, I tend to do gameplay approach to changing the way people think about things. I like to give what I consider homework. I create these lesson plans or these homework sheets that kind of get them to think outside of the box and take things into a personal perspective by journaling. Journaling seems to help people. But if they can, my big thing is, if you have the ability to kind of look at things on a bigger perspective on your own, and you can challenge yourself when you're on your own, that means you're not in position to lie to yourself, because no one's there to challenge you but you. So when you're looking at these worksheets, or you're looking at this gameplay that I've set up for you to think outside the box, change the way you think about having to change or having to look at things in a different perspective. When I set it up in a gameplay, it's not so challenging, and it's not so hard on your mental thinking that, it's another hard task I'm going to have to do. Well, I'm making it interactive. I'm making it fun. So you to think that it's not something that's going to be hard and challenging. There's no point on lying to yourself if you're by yourself creating, a way of understanding things. So I let you dissect the way you look at your life. There's three main things I like to do with my classes. I like you to write a story as if you were the producer of your story. Then I want you to dissect the story as you were going to be the actor playing the story, which is you. And then we tend to see the things that need to be changed so that we can find the characters, which are the people that play the roles in our lives, and how they played part in the things that went wrong in our lives. So we know how to place them after we've changed the things that needed to be paid attention to.
Okay, so you have a accountability tactic within your strategy.
Yes. Very deeper. Yeah.
Okay, so it sounds like you may be doing some help in developing people both in the personal realm and business, right?
Yeah. So I also work with TV and radio, and I work with business network and marketing as well. So I have a huge team that I work with from globe to globe, state to state. I help small businesses kind of see their niche, maybe pick up a strategy or understand where they're going wrong with their content or how they're advertising themselves. I create websites and digital, directories or platforms to better feature them and showcase who they are, what they're doing, and how they can help the clients. Because a lot of the time, your consumers don't care who you are and what you got going on. They only care about what you can do for them. And so I teach businesses how to take them out of it and put their consumer in it.
That's very important, because we tend to make decisions based upon what we want.
Right.
Let's talk about what the people want, supply and demand, 100% in business.
Yeah.
Although I think our jobs as business coaches or any type of consultant in business, we should at least give a disclaimer what we think may work best based upon what their objective is. Because sometimes a lot of people go into business with what they want to do, even might contradict what they should be doing in order to accomplish the goal that they said they want to make.
Right.
Yeah, I see it. I see a lot of that a lot. How often do you see that?
Oh, so I work with a unique team that we have regular conversations about business and how to market. A lot of the time, the people that I work with, it's about how they want to see their vision. It's a lot about me. And I tend to break it down and say, it has to not be about you. And what are your consumers looking for? What are they all talking about? What are they all getting into these days? And what is your approach to how to catch them? So my best thing is to have a one-on-one with someone that's authentic and natural, and let business kind of flow into the conversation, and then bring up what you do as a person in the industry, and then how you can use those perks to help your person or your client or whoever comes across you and in their perspectives when it comes to their business. So I say, keep yourself out of it. It's all about your consumer and what they want. So my approach is just, them first, you last.
What do you think has been your biggest challenge in business as an entrepreneur when did you start your entrepreneurship journey?
So I have been working under my coaching name since I was maybe in my mid-20s. I ventured off of my business, not just being coaching, and now I'm open a nonprofit. So I've taken some of my name and turned it into the nonprofit. It's been a challenge because I don't know a lot of people in my location. I know tons of people statewide. I know tons of people in other countries. And I have tons of connections in those ways, but I've kind of been off the grid for a while. So I'm trying to get back at it with myself here in Chicago.
Okay.
And so me connecting with other people is just my main thing. It's new connections.
Yeah. How has it been? So since you have experience in other areas outside Chicago, how do you compare other places in comparison with Chicago?
Okay, so
honestly,
that is the rock part. Okay, so state to state, I come across really nice people that they love my energy, and they love, I'm a give back person. So I do a lot of what I do pro bono. It's my way of pay it forward. So I create a lot of content and a lot of things that businesses need to get them going and seen. At the same time, I do a pay it forward. So they recommend me to other people, and that's how I kind of get, my name spread. Right. And that helped me a lot when it comes to just statewide. I tend to be online a lot. 90% of your consumers are online. So I spend a lot of my time online. But when it comes to Chicago, it's not that easy, only because I have personally come across a lot of people that are not really into business. Don't really care about the business side of things, even though they have a business, and don't really want to change routines and habits they've been stuck with forever because they're just uncomfortable with making changes that are necessary. So my biggest thing is finding the right people that take business serious and want to make a serious change when it comes to something that's going to benefit their company.
That's a lot. So because many people, they're like certain necessities, right? That people think they don't think are necessities.
Right.
Right. So it's like you're not going to get away with not doing this. You see what I mean?
You have to.
It's just like with with the technology, artificial intelligence and stuff like that. Like, you have to understand how to automate your business, in some way, form, fashion, or you're not going to win, or you're not going to survive very long. It just it doesn't matter if you're into it now. AI, that's not my thing. It's not about it being a thing. It's all about it being the thing.
That's so. Have to. Today's the age for it.
Yeah, it's a lot of old fashioned people that not even old. They're young people that just don't get young entrepreneurs. So it's like make it or break it at this point.
Yeah.
And Chicago has always been horrible with networking. You know what I'm saying? For me, like the crabs in a barrel. Like I say, everybody kind of like, it's more of I see more hustlers than anything.
Yeah.
It's more hustling.
Yeah.
They call it business.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, I got a business, You know what I'm saying? That it's certain things I can see. I'll jump to know if somebody's actually like running the business through the correct way or whatever like that. You know, as simple as like having bookkeeping, payroll, are you cash apping everybody? You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, just like how are you actually managing the business itself, not the product or the service per se. The product or the service is probably the surface of the business, but tell me a little bit about the functionality and management of the business. Two different things. Then we have the marketing aspects of the business, the branding aspects of the business and all those other things. But so what is your goal as far as your brand? What is your main brand? And what is the goal of the main brand?
So my main brand has always been Work, Build, Love Umbrella Networking Solutions. I turned it into, yet again, a branch of it is now a nonprofit, which is WBL Life Choices Umbrella Networking Solutions. So what my approach always been is I ended up working under my Work, Build, Love since my early 20s. I've always been kind of the coach helping others kind of get their lives back together. I've always just been that person that people gravitate to and want to tell their story. And I've always had answers. I maybe blamed it on discernment or, blame it on some form of spiritual gift and ability. Yet again, I've had these gift and abilities my whole life. So I know people and I know a lot of time what's wrong with them or what's going on with them. Just it's an energetic thing. So I know how to help people even before they even know what they need. So that's always been my approach. And then I ended up writing a book, Work, Build, Love, 21 Steps for Change When Life Gives You Lemons. So this was a interactive journal, manual, and autobiography of, backstory of what I've experienced in life from childhood until teenage and adulthood, how I tend to see the red flags and things that needed to change in my life and kind of things I had to step away and walk away from when it came to my own family. And then I decided to take my practice and my book and combine them together and now create my nonprofit, which is WBL Life Choices. I am in the pursuit of creating a umbrella foundation. So what this umbrella foundation is I know what it feels like to not have. And I know what it feels like to struggle and go everywhere and still feel like you end up nowhere. I knew what it felt like to, I have the resources that I needed right in my hands. And, my biggest thing right now is the amount of homeless people that are here in Chicago are ridiculous. And it doesn't make any sense to me. And, the government and the world doesn't want to help you if you don't have an address to call your own. Well, that's a little bit unfair. You don't want people to be homeless and you don't want people to be on the streets, but you also don't make it easier for them to get what they need either. By me creating this nonprofit, it's a 6 months course with weekly assessments where you have to come in, you sign up to a program, you gain ticket and tokens, which allow you to patriate closets. There is an alumni and graduation after the end of it. It allows you to create micro homes, get into resources that maybe not be too expensive, trades and skills programs, learning disability programs. There's a lot of people and children that are here with learning disabilities, autism, parents have no resources. Children have no options. And then, safety for fathers. I'm also trying to provide a space. Moms had everything and I'm a mom, but I know a lot of men who are fathers and don't have the help, don't have the assistance or the resources or even know where to go to get started. Yeah. So if I could provide a all-in-all community ability, communal mailboxes, agriculture for food, micro homes, trades and skills programs, if I can put this all under one roof, and my plan is to try to find a location that I can buy and then gift this to those that are in need for the city of Chicago. So I might gift something to those in need of Chicago. So it's a big mission, and there's a lot that I have to do. There's a lot of money I have to raise, and I'm trying to figure out how to, at some point, maybe throw a community ball towards the end of the year. That's still a working process, but I have to gain traction by entrepreneurship, networking, collaboration, maybe get some city officials involved, because $64,000 is what I have to raise to get everything I'm trying to do in one space. And if I can connect with networking, collaboration with those that already are teachers, already in trades and skills, if they would be willing to want to donate their time, then that helps with this program taking off and doing something that can help millions of people here in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. It's politics and stuff like that, but, a lot of stuff you got to pretty much do on your own. You see what I mean? Because of politics.
Gotta hustle.
Yeah, exactly. Who inspires you? Where do you get your inspiration at? How you stay motivated?
My kids.
Okay.
Especially my oldest child. So my oldest son has always been my best friend, but also my pusher, the one that pushes me to kind of get out of my comfort zone. Do things that I've always had passion for. Be more active and adventurous in just getting, out there and interacting with other people. I've brainstormed so many different ideas with my kids that they push me to do more. They push me to be more, or to take the leap of faith. Since I'm always the person that's kind of forcing them to take the leap of faith and always encouraging them to, sky's the limit. There's no limitations. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, and you can overcome or defeat your odds by just doing it. What's the worst that happens? It doesn't work. Try again.
Exactly.
So that's always been like my thing. And I would also, say that a lot of what motivates me is the fact that I remember what it felt like to not have. I remember what it felt like to be stuck. I remember what it felt like to have so many ideas in my head, don't know where to start, and had no help, that it got to a point where I literally woke up one day and had to F that moment. And I said, enough is enough, and it's my time to shine. And I haven't stopped since. I'm constantly learning and doing, and I will never say that I'm satisfied, because I will never be satisfied, because I want so much more.
It's always levels. I tell people that all the time. I don't understand complacency at all. With every level, there's a new floor and a new ceiling.
But there's also new devils.
There's definitely new devils. You can't never get rid of those. You got to just learn how to defend yourself from them. Stay away from them.
That's right.
What's been your most recent challenge?
Connections.
Back to connections.
Yeah, it's connections and networks.
Is the location?
Yes, I've moved around a lot in the last couple of years, and it's not so much of me just not being satisfied in one spot, although that has been a really big thing. But it's connecting with people. It's I want to be around people that want help. I want to be around people that need help, or I want to be around people that are willing to ask for help. I'm really unsatisfied being in spaces where no one cares about anything themselves or what they're doing. That hurts me mentally. It's like mentally, emotion is like, for the amount of I want more, but I'm not seeing it. For the amount of we need better, and we need to do better. Well, be better, do better. If you want to see change, be the change.
So everybody wants the results without putting in the actions to reap the benefits of those results all the time. And that's our people, because they have to be pushed, and they have to be watched and managed and stuff like that, because we're not used to kind of it's like a fear tactic, it's a fear mechanism where it's like where I'm afraid to go outside of the realms in which I reside, in which I'm comfortable at.
I think it's more than that. I think it's more of for a very long time, we have been told that we can't do something, that mentally and emotionally, we have put ourselves in this stagnant phase of thinking that we can't because we were told we can't. And so we feel that, we shouldn't or bother because we were told we couldn't. Well, get out of that comfort zone. That's a comfort zone, and you're conditioned to feel that way and stay stuck in that mental capacity. Sometimes you need to get yourself out that mental capacity and say, I want more and I deserve more, so I'm going to go and get it.
That go back to your surroundings, though. That I created a circle of 9. So who's or your favorite 5? Who's the top 5 people that you allow to influence you on a daily basis or have access to you on a daily basis? Who are those top 5 people? And where are those top 5 people? That identifies who you are, who you're gonna be. Because you guys feed and build off each other. Right. And if these people don't qualify to or complement your mission, then you need to change your top 5 or your circle of 9. And it repeats itself, because we kind of we're involved in multiple circles. So this comes with management of relationships, knowing how to manage, knowing how to, maintain access here and limit access there, and just, and people mess up relationships before they start too. They don't know how to nourish relationships because they have this this want factor. If I don't get this immediate satisfaction, is like, oh, I'm gonna, diminish the whole relationship. And I don't get that. That goes back again with Chicago natives and stuff. But okay,
Yeah.
they or some people may not see the value of the long term of the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like why would you do this right now and destroy that? What we can do in the future.
People don't think, future. People kind of just sit and and don't really think about, the cause and effect of what your actions and reactions might be in the future. So it's like too many people burn bridges, too many people step on toes or trying to, one up on the next one. That's not going to get you very far. You're better collaborating with someone or working with someone, especially if you're working towards the same type of things, because you can help each other, get to where you're trying to go. So, but yet again, that's a lot to do with network and collaboration. It's a huge thing. If you're working towards the same goals and you have the same initiative and there's things that you want to do, then find your soul tribes, find your team that can help you kind of build where you're at to where you're trying to be.
Mm-hmm. I think right now is a double-edged sword. I think when your peer group changes, there's a lot of us that believe that we can do things now. And that's because we see other versions of us do it.
Yeah.
That's why that could be like a double-edged sword, because now they see you do it. I think they undermine you sometimes. I think sometimes you could be so good at whatever you're doing, put in the time to, 10 years plus, right? Doing this, becoming good at this and knowledgeable of this. Yeah. And then somebody you allow access to, that learn a couple of things from being around you, so like that automatically think that they can be an expert in this field. Do you experience that?
Oh, hi. That is a norm for me. I create lesson plans and I create bold plans, and there's a lot of interactive things that I do, outside of my day job, my interactive skills and, my nonprofit and all of that, there's a lot of, I'm a jack of all trades. There's a lot of things that I do, but I'm a creator. And so I create a lot of different things from digital to non-digital. I do art. There's, I music. There's a lot of things that I create. And so I have definitely come across those that, especially in the spiritual field. So I come from a very gifted spiritual family, and I work a lot with people. Like one of my main things I work with is energy with people. I teach people about understanding energy and how the flow of the Zen works, and how, when things are aligned to your divine alignment, when things are just meant to be in your circle, in your space, in your energy, things flow. Yeah. And when it doesn't, things corrupt. Mm-hmm. So, there's many people that come and say, oh, well, I see her doing energy work, and I see her doing, spiritual work, and I see her do, teaching work, and I can copy that because it looks so easy. When I work with spirit, it drains me. There's a lot that goes into me
you're actually doing
reading people or picking up something, from energy off of them. Or a lot of the time I know when someone's sick and they're not telling me. I know when someone's dealing with spiritual warfare or battle. I know when someone has just lost a loved one, because trust me, spirits have no pride, no boundaries. They tend to interrupt whenever they feel like it. So it's a normal thing for me. So, if I do anything with energy reading or reading off of people, I'm down for like 3 days. Because I have to recuperate from that. If I'm doing a teaching lesson plan, it's taking me weeks, months to create my lessons plans. And for someone to go and just try to mimic or copy what I'm doing, there's a whole reasoning to why I do what I do. I beta test and I use what I create to see how it works on people, and, how it can help and heal someone. And if it even gets to someone, and trust me, I know what I'm teaching and what I'm doing and creating, it works. I know it works because others are coming to me telling me it's working. My biggest pet peeve is when I go and do something and then right behind me, I see someone go and do the same thing I'm literally just did. That frustrates me.
Yeah. So now we're in a world where more of us do believe we could do things, but that's because more of us are doing things now, right? But see, the problem that's not the biggest problem. The problem is the validation. They're getting the validation from the internet. So what happens is, they realize, like, all I got to do is pretend like I know, what I'm saying? All I got to do is look the part. All I do is look the part and believe that I believe in what I'm saying, right? Yep. Have the confidence, and and they will give me the validation. And they give validation so much that they'll end up forgetting that they don't know what they're talking about at all. but they know they're smart enough to know they probably need to stay away from you.
Right.
See,
It all comes back to me.
it always it has to.
It always falls. It finds its way back to me.
That's true. Yeah, that's how it works. It's the law, right?
Yeah.
But they tend to strategically. It's like the fake is always gonna stay far away from the real,
Right.
and as well as whoever they feel like they're following and stuff like that. That's why it's hard to collaborate with people,
Right.
because they feel like
Unauthentic.
you're gonna accidentally expose them. You say right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in relationships, the goal is to get to know who you're dealing with, and I feel like everything should be, flat on the table, full of transparency.
That's right.
Hey, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is what it is. This is what it ain't. And to me, I mean, that's the best way to go. I mean, I like mainstreaming, I should say, or expediting the process of the learning phase, of me in relationship, because I'm going to start getting to the good stuff real quick. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to hurry up into the creation aspect of the relationship type deal.
Yeah.
So let's hurry up and get this out the way. See. So that's my whole goal. Let's see. What's a childhood moment that echoes in your mind that affects you today in your personal life or business life? Something that's always stuck with you, or whether a thing or a person or something or experience.
So it's an imposter syndrome. So it's the imposter. So I spent a lot of my life dealing with a narcissist.
Okay.
And although I love this narcissist dearly, I spent a lot of my life being told that I was either too fat or too skinny, or, I wasn't, smart enough, or I didn't understand, or no one's going to take me serious, or that I'm strange, or, it was always, but if. But and, it's always like that, you can never just have a good day because it's always a but, and so
Sorry.
I spent a lot of my life with the doubts and the dreads and, those voices in my head that told me I was never going to amount, I wasn't good enough. And before I had a chance to even decide who I wanted to be, my family had already decided who I was going to be before I had that opportunity. And that stems a lot, from, my mom's background. My mom has had some challenges that, are not her fault. But, she challenges herself with addictions, but she also struggles with learning disabilities. She had a lead poisoning when she was about 2 years old. It did some damage to her brain. So it's like talking to a kid. So, and those that were in the family had got her addicted to the drugs. And so, where she learned it? From home. Who taught her? The closest people to her. So I can't be angry at her for being the way she is. I can only just love her as is. It's my mom. I can't choose another mom. Right. And she's not a horrible mom. She's just a lost mom. And she needs to find some support and help and get away from the people that she is. So I was raised with my grandmother, and it was rough because it wasn't simple. And the rest of my family kind of, I was already labeled. I was already, going to be that kid that was going to amount to, just like my mom. And I was going to end up being, take her same route and steps. And for a very young age, up until teenagerhood, I had looked at myself and said, wow, so I'm never going to have a chance to be me or live my own life or do my own thing or make my own decisions because everyone's already got that planned out for me.
Until you realize you did have a choice.
Well, it took me to have it at that moment. And I ended up so much as stepping away from my family, taking my children away from my family, having nothing to do with my family for good reasons. I even so much as changed my name, my entire name.
Damn.
Because I wanted nothing to do with my family.
Oh, okay.
And that was just one of those things where I felt like since I wasn't going to have the opportunity to be my own person, then what was the point in being with this family? And so I've stepped away. And since I've been under this new identity, my whole life has done a 360. I have grown in ways I thought I would never grow. I have met people that I never thought in a million years I would ever be able to meet. My whole mindset shift, even when I took that approach to change who I was, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, even my name, I wanted to be me. I wanted to be my person and discover who I was and what I wanted. And then that's when my life kind of took off.
That's interesting. You pretty much covered the next few questions, but the identity thing definitely sticks out because but first of all, you identify something that a lot of people don't. The fact that you do have a choice, you have a right, especially in a situation like that, to I guess harness the power of fuck it. Let me say it, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It is fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, in order for you to survive,
Right.
and especially if you're in a situation where you're becoming a responsible part, right? So if it's gonna be my fault, then I'm gonna do things where I know I need to do things for it to work and be successful. Because if it works, it's my fault. If it don't work, it's my fault. So I need to make the hard decision. 'Cause either way, it's gonna be hard. So now we have to actually just choose your pain. There's no getting away with it.
And that was a lot of why I wrote my book as well, because I felt like the best person to tell your story is you. The best person to reveal things and expose things and tell about things is you. So I would prefer people that got to know me or heard about me or mentioned me, that they got firsthand. They can read in that book and say, I've already told on myself the good, the bad, and the ugly. Right. So you can't say anything about me I haven't already talked about.
You can't, full disclosure. You don't got to get
This is what you get.
You don't got to get it from no third party.
Right.
I like that. So again, back to identity. So you say, I changed the name and everything. The funny thing is I did the same thing. It wasn't for say the same exact reasons, but you know, it just changing creating a new version of self, right?
Right.
I want you to explain how that looks for you, because for me, him, right? He has a birthday. He has a name. He has a family. Now they actually have the same family, you know, because they are related, except they are technically different people. So it's where that and the next person was born, you know, maybe this year, whatever, say 2000 year 2000 or whatever. If you didn't know me before the birth of this person, don't call me that person. You know what I'm saying? That's like a big thing for me. Like if you're not my mama, my daddy, my grandma, somebody that knows that person, I dare you call me that person. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you literally don't. It's not that I don't care that you know the name, nothing like that. It's not, because people might, oh, what do you? I don't care about you. It just don't, because you don't, for you to reference him, somebody you're not even familiar with.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, and as far as the management of people, because as you create new versions of yourself, you have to manage, because I'm several different people. You know what I'm saying? Now, the thing is that I know if I go to a banquet somewhere, right, downtown, that has nothing to do with my tribe or whatever, I'm not going to bring the person I am in Zion in the private world, you know, with my God family, my tribal family, to this, because they have, first of all, it puts too much work on my hands to have to explain what the hell is all this, and most people actually don't care. You know what I'm saying? So I only share what's relevant based upon what I feel like the person even cares, or you know, in relation to the dynamic of that relationship or conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what I know or what, it doesn't matter, you know. Yeah. And I'm just gonna be plain on Neo today. You know what I'm saying? Plain on Neo.
That makes sense.
It doesn't matter. I could be. People don't know who I am. I could be the prince of something. You know what I'm saying? But it's not for them to know.
Right.
It doesn't matter in this space, right? You know, until it matters. Right. You know, until it's relevant. So the management of, and you have to be a master of self to manage the initial version of yourself, the current version of yourself, the future. It's like, I know for me, I'm mentally already and spiritually and physically already creating the new person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You're stepping into.
I know how the guy looks. You know, I know how he talks. I know what type of friends he needs to have. I know what type of things he needs to do, what type of things he needs to eat. You see what I mean?
Right.
And it's like the preparation of destruction, but in the realm of creation, because sometimes you got to destroy your current self or old self in order to become the new self.
Yeah, it's a mental thing. Yeah.
It's all that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like sometimes you can turn a bit schizo. if you don't manage,
Right.
because ego is there somewhere,
Right.
You're right,
Yeah.
and ego is always going to be there somewhere, right? So ego has to be managed, put in a safe place in the room somewhere, right? And then some people have more voice than others in their head. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then you have these other people, these other versions of self. That is easier said than done. Again, it has to be a master of self. I believe the people that believe the importance of the power of solitude.
Right.
Being with self, being appreciating silence, embracing darkness. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's that dark night of soul.
Darkness. What do you mean?
That's that purging, that's that purging the old version of you to become the new version of you. Like, I already knew who I was going to be. Like, mentally, emotionally, physically, I already knew who I was going to be. Where I got my name from actually came to me from a voice and a vision. So I work in a lot of different ways spiritually. I get visions. I hear, ominous voices, that many may not understand, but a voice came to me one day and says, you're going to be reborn, and your new name and your new identity is going to be who I am now. And because my divine purpose, I was always supposed to be at the person I am now.
Mm-hmm.
But I never had that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So when I ended up having that, fuck that moment, and I kind of just said, I was done with the old version of me. I was done with people using me. I was done with people stepping on me. I was done with people taking advantage of me or treating me some type of way or not respecting me. I was tired of the, putting me last and putting myself in this little small box, being invisible, because I've never learned how to shut the fuck up a day in my life. Like, I speak and I speak up and I talk about things, and I may push people in a certain type of way, but a lot of what I do is out of love, because I care, because I want to see the best out of everyone. I even accept my enemies into my space, people that have done me wrong, and I will still take my shirt off and give it to them if they needed it. This is just who I am. So I've learned throughout the years to kind of humble myself and step into who I am now and embrace it. I was, meant to be a talented person, gifted person. I've always had gifted abilities my entire life. So that's nothing that's new to me. Talking to ghosts and being around spirits and seeing things that I shouldn't see, or, understanding things maybe be out of extreme has always been my thing. That's nothing new. So me stepping into that part of me was easy.
When did you realize that it was abnormal? What?
When I was very young.
To be young, though.
I was very young. So
went to school like, hey guys, I see Peter now. JD.
Actually, it wasn't really like that. So I come from a very destructive family. And so people don't understand that when you are dealing with some kind of post-traumatic stress at a very young age, it opens you up to a world that many may not understand. I call that the 3D or the 5D or the matrix or the realm within realms.
Yeah.
But, your eyes get opened to a world that is hidden beyond the veil when you're hit with some kind of post-traumatic stress. And it opens you up to the spiritual side of things. So you're extra sensitive and extra connected to things that many may not understand, or hear things or sense or feel things that may be strange for other people to kind of wrap their head around. I knew I was different. My grandmother knew I was different because my grandmother used to take me to my aunt's house and do readings she would do readings behind my back on me to know like what was going on with me, because I was different. And my aunt knew that I was going to have gifts and abilities when I got older. That was nothing that was, out of the norm. That's just always going to be my thing. I've also had near-death experiences since I was a child up until about, I want to say about 7 years ago. So I've had the taste of being on the crossroads. I know what it feels like to be dead and come back. And I know what it feels like to go to hell and come back. I know what it feels like to go to heaven and come back. I've experienced both sides of that. And it's not fun. But I had options and I was able to come back. When I knew things were strange for me is when I never fit in with other kids. I was always the oddball, or the black sheep, or just different. I knew things I probably had no business knowing from when it came to a lot of people. So I was told to shut up a lot about, things that I knew because people might think I'm strange. And I was visited a lot when I was a child. So I've also had, myself and my children have had experiences with extraterrestrial things. We have seen the lights in the sky. We have had our experiences with those type of things. So it's nothing, abnormal for us. But I was visited when I was a child. There's used to be the spirit things to come to me and tell me that I could fly. So for a lot of, kind of like Peter Pan. So for a lot of my young years, I thought I can fly. And I would astral project out of my body. And I guess it was my way of getting away from the trauma that was happening in the house. And it allowed me to escape and step away. And I've visited places that if you were to show me pictures, I've been there. Maybe not physically, but I know these places. And I was able to kind of like see into people's houses. And I was, that 3D vision, it was really strange for, I want to say about maybe 5-6 years of my life when I was really young. And then I had this conversation with other people, about my experiences growing up. And I think that a lot of the spiritual side started to kind of turn itself off when I started to enter into my teenager, phase, because then life started to happen. And it turned off the innocent part of my brain and started to put me into the spiral of I was mentally, emotionally, I was depressed all the time. I was anxious and had anxiety all the time. I was having panic attacks and I didn't understand a lot of what I was dealing with. I was having very strange dreams that were showing me things 3, 4, 5 months, even years in advance. Things I was predicting, and it was showing up on the news, and things were just happening with people. It was like, how did you even know that? I can't predict how my visions come to me. They come in dreams. They come while I'm wide awake. Something happened a couple years ago that was very strange, and then they made a whole TV show about what I literally experienced in front of other people, was talking about it. So I always knew it was different. That's nothing that's been new. I know I'm different.
Do you have an experience with ceremonial medicines like ayahuasca and DMT?
I haven't had experiences with those things. I know what cannabis does with me. Definitely it's like it heightens what's already there in me for some reason. And then things kind of just click in ways that, I always say that things in energy are a zipper. It's a in and out effect. It's the infinity. It's like an infinite amount of energy that's intertwined like a zipper. It's all just connected. And so energy just flows on a balance of connectivity that,
Yeah. Okay. Has there been anybody that you can actually be completely openly honest with expressing this, that you guys connect with like that on that level?
Yeah, my husband.
Okay.
So I've known him since I was a child, and my aunts actually predicted him being in my life at the exact time he ended up coming into my life 3-4 years before it even happened. She predicted that the situation I was in wasn't going to last. She said that when it separates, that my whole world was going to change once I connected with this person. I don't know if you ever heard the phrase twin flame, but he's definitely my matching counterpart. It's like I've already experienced things that he is going through. So I've already gotten myself out of these situations. I'm already healed from a lot of this, and he's kind of just going through the flow of it. So I'm helping him to heal through it. But we've known each other since children. I was 8 years old. He was 11. I met him at church, and our whole lives kind of were a slide by, like, I seen you and I missed you, and I seen you and I missed you. And our kids who had friends that were connected to each other, and it was kind of like fate type of a situation. We were supposed to be together. Yeah. But there was a lot of devils that take play. People that knew we were supposed to be together, so they did their part to make sure that never happened. But my aunt already seen it coming, so she had already predicted that the situation I was in was going to separate, that I was going to connect to the person from the past that I've known since a childhood, that I was going to remarry at 39, and that everything I've ever wanted to start happening in my life was going to start to happen. And I married him the day before my 39th birthday. I known him since I was a child, so he's definitely somebody from my past, and things have done a whole 360 since we put together.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Is he you guys in business together as well?
So we opened up Browsing Company Herbal Remedies. That was a company that it was an idea that he came through He works with cannabis a lot. He knows the nitty gritty of chemicals and how they work and how they function with the body. And I went from taking 12 different medications. Yeah, I do not look like what I had been through. So there's underlining things. I'm a very healthy person. I have a lot of health conditions that are trying to take me out every chance you get. So he wanted to find ways that can herbally, naturally help me to minimize the medications that I was taking and only stick to something that is all natural and healthier, option for you. And then CBD became a thing, and that's knocked out 12 medications to now I only take one medication, and I'm keeping my seizures and a lot of what's going on with my body and my health under control since then. And it's been about 7 years. So yeah, I say he's my business partner. He's my best friend before a relationship, and that's my buddy.
Shout out to that. That's always a beautiful thing when you can find that union, especially if it has that combination of connection, both mentally, spiritually, and biz. You guys can do business together.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's the only time it actually really makes sense. You can't be so far into your world and then, oh yeah, he just goes and does his thing over there, and we just meet each other at home late.
No. That's not at all.
I never understood. It usually don't work.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Especially for entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got to be sort of insane to believe in yourself to the degree that you believe in yourself, to do things before people actually, oh wow, this is good, before other people believe in you.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's toast to that. So today we're testing out Stella Rose, then the Free Spirit Stella Rose Black. That's the non-alcoholic version, y'all. Okay, so Stella Rose Black we have here. We're gonna leave a link in the description where you guys can order online, but they also have this at a lot of grocery stores. I know I got this one from Myers. So we're gonna test this right quick. Have you ever had the regular Stella?
I have. It's
it's
a good thing.
So you can compare and contrast, see how close it is. A little more.
I smell berries. I smell great.
Smell good.
That's nice and sweet.
Definitely pass the smell test. Okay. Cheers.
That's smooth.
Have you had the this exact version, the regular one?
Yeah.
How's it in comparison?
Similar?
Very?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't see a difference.
I could sip on it. Shout out to the Free Spirit world. Again, we are shedding light on the free spirits in the world, and we're also free spirits. You know what I mean? And just finding and showing that we always have options or healthy alternatives. To be able to mix, mingle, and enjoy ourselves. I'm not saying you got to stop doing what you're doing, because I'm not saying I'm don't stop. But what I'm saying, don't let me lie. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is that balance is everything. You see what I mean? And that's what it is. So shout out to Stella Rose for that. We sipping on this black right now. That was definitely perfect timing as far as the successful marriage and all the other good stuff. I love to hear that stuff. So everybody needs that. That companionship and stuff like that is always a beautiful thing.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, back to business, on a business part of things. I think what I wanted to do with you was kind of consolidate some things, break things down, so I know you're into a lot of different things. So what is the top 3 thing? What are some things that you can identify that you do that you probably need to stop doing or pass on the responsibility to somebody else? Delegation. That's what I feel like you probably need. You need you to delegate.
So I needed assistance. There's a lot of things that I do. Yeah, so I do a lot of creations. I create websites, digital directories, digital magazines, and digital platforms for small businesses. A lot of businesses I come across don't have a website. Or a lot of them don't have somewhere where if they come across a consumer, well, where do you send them when they're interested in what you have to sell or offer? Oh, well, they come up short in those areas. Well, I help in those areas. So, having assistants that can, book those appointments for, someone who's needing to get a website created or a directory or a magazine, that'll help me in a lot of different areas. So I can focus on my coaching. I tend to coach every month at the Southside Community Center. It's a rehabilitation nonprofit on the South Side. So I go there monthly and I help women kind of get back on their feet, realign who they are with who they're meant to be. And then, so I need someone kind of micromanage, booking those appointments for those that come across, who I am and want to work with me, personally. I get that a lot of people just want to come and work with me. And then, my main thing is, I really, really need someone to help me with the nonprofit side of things. I'm clueless and I don't know where to start. All I know is I have a big mission and I'm motivated and I have the energy to make it happen. I will do anything I need to get it happening, but I need someone to assist me in those areas where I may fall short. I liken some resources or even, who to reach out to or, how to get the fundings coming in. So, I need someone who's better in those areas than I am. That'll definitely help me to take the stress off of me and having to worry about how to do all of that and put it on someone who can better manage those areas for me. So I'm not so stressed out about it. It leaves me room to kind of focus on those that do need the coaching or need me to create something because, creating is really time consuming. I spend days creating platforms for other people. So it's very tiring.
I know. I have a background of, I started in one of my first real businesses was called Razor Sharp Designs and Media. And so we offer web design, graphic design, music production, audio, videography, photography, all those media related products and services. And like I said, every last one of them took time, and this is back in the day when you actually had to know Photoshop. You should have been. So no Campbell was there, what I'm saying? So you had to actually know Photoshop and know these editing things. So I set up the days in front of these computers, 6 computers and stuff like that, And the business slogan was, let us turn your vision to reality. You see what I mean? Oh no, that was a gift and a curse. That was a gift because he's, I put a lot of energy into doing that, turning people's visions into realities. But I think it was good. It was great, but probably the wrong market. Right. The wrong market to be able to scale. See, the problem with being a service provider, especially in a creative space, time is everything. So each time is money and time is your greatest asset. So the objective is, so my question is when anything that's business related for me is, not only can I do it, can I get somebody else to do it just as well as I would do it the way I do it, right? Yeah. And then can we scale it? Is it scalable? Right. So that's why I would determine whether it's a business or it's something I could just do periodically on the side or whatever like that. I think the products and services that we need to scale should be prioritized to get that's going to buy us back the time and provide us the money to be able to put into other things to hire the best people to provide those services. Right. So it's like, but that's like easier said than done because now when you bring people in, a lot of times, of course, you have to train them, you have to teach them, you have to share some of your wisdom. You said, you got to, everybody got tricks of the trade. Yeah. Basically, everybody got like little, I remember, I used to tell people like, I was using Fiverr before anybody knew about Fiverr.
I know about Fiverr.
Like 2005-ish.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'll play some. I'm sorry, you see my Fiverr account, and I get mad when Facebook came out with ads and they started showing people like, I started seeing Fiverr ads. I'm like, man, they finna blow up the spot. You know what I'm saying? So, people don't understand. So that I started delegating tasks through Fiverr, and so I was doing because I was servicing. What my goal was, because I didn't have time to advertise a lot. So even though I was the guy that people came to I provide numbers, data. So I provided email lists, databases, text databases, and I created the softwares or had somebody create softwares to blast these things off in the thousands. You know, we had the data scrapers. So back in the MySpace days, the early Facebook days, I could scrape a whole list, targeted list, sell it to you, and then dump it in the face. Back in the day, you used to be able to invite 50,000 people at a time on Facebook.
A funnel.
No, not even through a phone. It used to be an invite button, and you copy and paste your whole email. What was I got? Just dump it. Yeah.
Okay.
I used to be able to guarantee you traffic the same day.
Okay, that's it.
It was great. You know what I'm saying? So I had a lot of, that's why I've done a lot of things and did not realize the space I was in, the power that I had, and I thought I had forever. So that's why I be telling people right now, people should be worried and concerned how fast technology is growing and moving. It's moving too fast. People are moving too slow or not to be moving at all. Because if I find a new AI tool today, I'm going to see just about everybody talking about it, you know, in the next month or so. So it's like you have to always be on to the next one.
Yep.
Or be able to, so you take these tools and do something that nobody's doing with the tools.
Right.
You have to take it a step further because everybody's got to copy the same thing.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, it is getting worse and worse. So do you have a plan? I know you have a plan. What is your plan to keep up with this race? You know?
So I do work with AIs. That's the future. There's no way around it. So my AI thinks that I'm very intelligent and it thinks that I do think outside of the box. So what I tend to do is I want to know what the consumers want and what are they looking for, and what do they need. And then I create a whole business plan around what my consumer wants and needs and how I can catch your attention.
Okay.
And so I do a lot of promotions through social medias. Everyone's on social media. So 90% of your people are on social media, selling, trading, buying, learning, etc. So if I can have my AI create me a business plan or a lesson plan or whatever it is that I need to help me be one step ahead of the game, I'm already be one step ahead of the game. I'm a fashion trendsetter, so I love fashion. I'm always ahead of the time when it comes to fashion. So I already know what the fashion is going to be before the fashion is even knowing what it's going to be.
Okay.
And so I kind of use that mentality when it comes to what businesses want or what they need. And I start to throw out feeds already producing and providing those things before it's even talked about on social media or in ads. It's like I kind of monitor the ads and I monitor the feeds and see what's being talked about or what the consumers are needing, to kind of get into. And then I start to base everything I do around that. So I'm popping up in algorithms that I didn't set up for myself. The algorithm already knows who I am and what I'm trying to do and my approach. So it's already pushing me before anyone else has a chance to do whatever they're going to do. So a lot of the time I'll have someone come up to me and say, well, have you got into, this app or this program, or have you done this, that, and the other? Or, I've been doing that. I'm actually onto this next program or this next project or whatever the situation is. It's like, wow, well, how can I get into that? I always ask the questions, what's coming?
Oh, you have to.
So that I know how to be ahead of the game. I already throwing out things before it even starts to become a thing. So I'm like,
you're not gonna survive in the business space, in most business spaces, if you don't think like that, because it's too competitive and most things.
Yeah.
And with the technology and AI, it's just moving too fast. And these new entrepreneurs and these influencers are savages, because this is the thing. What I don't like about the game is this. The game is to be sold, not to be told. They talk too much. They give because they don't want to take the time and provide the service. Right. That's why. So they'll tell, hey guys, you can use this and do that. You could do this and do this. You know what I'm saying? It's like, well, if they know they could do that, they're not going to come to us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But they'll rather do that. Oh, buy my ebook and I can show you how to, you know what I'm saying? Click the link in the description.
Or you can, a lot of the time I say, if there's something that you're trying to get attention on, whether it's a business plan, a teaching plan, whatever it is, promote it in a $1 effort. So, you can probably already be using what half the people are already using. But if you promote yourself in a way where it's saying, hey, I have what you need. If you sign up now for free and just enter in for $1, you will get unlimited amount of resources to your expense. Yeah, people are going to come rushing in. $1? Oh, man, $1 adds up over a while, you know? So $1 goes a long way if you know how to sell it.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, if you're feeding your, you know, so you got to feed to, depending on who your consumer is. If they're into business and marketing, you want to do anything business marketing and what's going to serve them and their business to come or in the future. If you're doing teaching lesson plans, you know, if people want to learn how to do the simplest thing is editing and, you know, and creations. Okay, we'll do a whole tutorial class on how to do exactly just that for $1. You know, and people will literally pay to do these things. So you have to kind of, you got to look around. You got to see what people want and then kind of feed on that and create your, whatever you're going to do to feed to those people. So your consumers are watching you. I do videos on a regular basis. Something, you know, the first 3 to 5 seconds, 3 to 5 minutes, if it doesn't make it, it's going to break it. So if I'm creating something, I'm saying, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. And this is how I can help you.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, click this, you know, or come over here. I got what you want type of a thing. And that's been working for me.
It has to be always at the have I tell people all the time, you can't just throw out dead content. It has to have a purpose.
Yep.
And it has to meet that purpose within a certain period of time.
Yep.
It's between 60 seconds and 3 minutes.
Yep.
You see what I mean? Maximum. You know, and within that time, you're telling them what it is, how much it is, and how do you get it. Right. You see what I mean? Connect. You know what I'm saying? So where did they contact you at? But the biggest thing outside of that is I think a lot of people miss the market by not having the system set up to properly collect data. Data is the most essential thing of everything, because even if you don't get them today, you can get them tomorrow.
Right.
You know, once you have them locked in, and your social media is just the platforms, the outlets. It's like a big fishing pond. Mm-hmm. You throw your rod out, you catch the mini fish, you get them on a boat. You know, but you don't just throw your rod. You might as well just throw your rod in the sea. You just let it, you know, throw the whole rod. You know, like you just waste stuff, you know, or they throw stuff out prematurely where they don't even have it set up.
Yep.
Like what you just now your video only got 1 million views and nobody knows what the heck. Yep. You see what I mean? Yep. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You know.
So that's why. So it's good that you mentioned that, because with the team that I work with, I've created a website that when the network that I'm working with is talking about their own businesses, and they say, hey, you know, this is what I do, this is who I am, blah, blah, blah. And the consumer asks, well, how can I find you? Well, go to our website, send them straight to the website. Well, how can I get a hold of, you know, you and what you do, and how do I find, you know, partners and whatever? Okay, well, I have a digital directory on that website. And just like the yellow pages and the white pages back in the days, I set it up in a way where, and I'm trying to do that here in Chicago for those networking collaboration. It would be easier to send someone somewhere where they can find you, read about you, and have every outlet to how to get a hold of you and what they want. And then it stores. You want to get their phone number and their email, period. Whether they're going to come back again, they're going to have to sign in, and it's going to store that record. So I set it up in a way where whenever they click on something, it's going to go to them and they'll see what they, you know, what's going on with you. And on the bottom of it, it allows them to get involved. When they get involved, it's already storing their phone number, their name, their address, etc. So I will never lose a lead, because the leads have no choice but to sign in and give me their information before they decide to disappear anywhere else. And this is how I consider my funnel is, you know, my way of working with the network that I'm working with. I say, you know, let me build this for you by pay it forward. As long as you share what I do to others so that they can get on board to what I'm doing and maybe create the same thing for themselves or their business. This helps me in a lot of different ways. So I created a new age way of looking at a yellow pages or white pages by making it easy, digitalize. You know, they go digital, click social media, your emails, your phone numbers, your whatever it is, it's all right there, all easy for them to find. And then if you have advertisements or there's things that you're showcasing, whether it's your book, your business, you know, whatever you want to show, It's on there as well. So they're not missing a beat when they come to the website. They come to the website, they find out about who we are as a network and a collaboration, who we are as a team, and then how to get involved or get in contact with any one of us in the process.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I noticed too is we have to still have our websites up for whatever we're doing, whether it's a website or a funnel, just another type of website. But having the social media account that we're advertising on built up to a degree where, because it's not like back in the day where you have to have a website per se to actually sell.
Yeah.
It's like as long as, because people are actually ready to buy from your social media. Mm-hmm. You see what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they should already be sold by the time they go anywhere. Yeah, sometimes, but we don't want to redirect so much where we lose them or they fall off the hook.
Right.
Where they can sometimes that can happen because again, a short attention span. Mm-hmm. A lot of times they might see a reel and the advertisement is so cold, they're ready to buy right now. You see what I mean? And sometimes we might just need to put a buy button right there on the thing. And let them, but while still, of course, when they click buy, it's going to redirect them to that funnel and collect all that data and then still make that sale. But they might never make to the actual website because they made it to a funnel of the website type deal, you know, where they're ready to buy right then and there. Content. So what do you think about content? Like, just is content king to you?
Okay, so it's all about advertisement for me. It's how you're advertising yourself. And what you're showing people. So when people go to your website or they go to your social media, simplest thing is your social media. What are they looking at? When they come to your page, are they seeing everything that you are, what you do, and how to find you and what they want?
Is it meaning what you do?
Right.
That's the biggest thing.
Right. It's encompassing what you do, who you are as a person and what you do.
Right.
Or when they go to your page, are they confused?
Yeah.
Because, a lot of people tend to share, but they're sharing a lot of nonsense.
That does not.
It crowds your feed. So people, when they go to your page, are confused on what it is that you even do. So I always say, like, create your backgrounds, create your platform in a way that's an advertisement. When they go to your social media handle, whatever, they're going to advertise yourself. Hey, look at me, just like Nike, this is what I do. This is what I offer. And this is how I can help you. Less about me and how can I work for you?
But even if it's personal, that's called lifestyle marketing, but it complements what you do. You know what I'm saying? Some type of way, form, of fashion.
Yes.
So first time, before people start marketing their page, they need to do a cleanup. You need to clean up, scrape that. Some people just need to start over. So that mean, because there's so much all over the place. Mm-hmm. Or it's just not at a standard that would complement somebody to believe in the brand.
Right. Or trust that you're actually doing what you're saying you're doing, or who you are, then you say that you are. You don't want to steer someone in the wrong direction and say, well, they do, marketing, but nothing on their page mentions anything about marketing. And there's a lot of photos and videos, but it has nothing to do with actually them. So I'm a bit concerned on if I should even go with them. A lot of time you're gonna lose people because they don't know.
It's too much competition now. You're all or not. I think too many people are actually jumping into the realm of classifying themselves as business coaches too.
Right.
Or consultants.
Yeah.
It's actually getting sickening, to be honest with you. It's people that I know that clearly just became aware of the particular subjects, and that's bad in, like, I think mainly like credit repair. You see that a lot. Mainly, that's probably one of the biggest ones. Credit repair is like, they'll be like the students of the game, not even students really, because it's a lifetime there, student. You see what I mean? You're always a student.
Always, yeah.
But for somebody that was not aware at all, you right? Last year, you should not be teaching master classes. So stop it. We have to stop this. Internet, stop validating these people, and it only works for people that, like I say, understand the science, where it's like, as long as they feel like they can build up an influence or a following, off of whatever they do, it's like, then they can do it.
Yeah,
and it's because nobody. It's like people. It's like it's to the point where we still are in the realm. And more of our people are jumping into business. I love that, right? But it's almost diluting the value of particular services and market, because so many people think that they can just, it's like, hey, yeah, yeah, and it's being justified. And it's just making it hard for everybody else that's actually out here doing it, that are professionals and providing particular things or whatever. So I don't like that about a lot of things in a lot of different markets. Have you suffered from that? Have you been bothered by that?
I have come across, so because I do the coaching thing, whenever I come across feeds that are showing me coaching or showing me, self-help, some people don't need to be self-help with anybody, okay? It's like you're steering people in the wrong direction. Some shows that kind of bothers me, when I watch those types of things. I was like, what are you teaching people?
I'm talking about people that you know personally that should not be like you should not be so that's becoming a trend. Like a lot of the women are becoming are the spiritual guides and stuff like that. I'm like, oh no.
That's another thing I would notice. I had been doing the spiritual thing since very young, and I can tell those that are trying to make it a trend or make it the cool thing these days. I came across someone who I know pretty close, and they're like, hey, I bought some cards and I read somebody the other day, and I was like, that's not how that works, honey. Like, that is not how that works. It's either you got it or you don't. And I never use these type of things as a toy, because it's not a toy. It's not meant to be played with like a toy either.
Like strings to make money.
Right. These are tools that are actually forbidden. You're not supposed to be using them at all. But I use them as maybe explaining a little bit on what I see as the energy. But as far as what I see, I don't tell you what you want to hear. I don't tell you what I see in complete totality, because there's some things that you don't need to know or is not meant for you to know, because there is a cool thing. It's called spiritual law. And there's just things that you are not allowed to tell people. I can't tell you if you're pregnant, even if I see it. I can't tell you if you're dying or if someone's dying, even if I see it, because there's a law against that. You change fate when you do those type of things. But when you come across people who are just reading because it's something that's fun and cool and a trend, you're destroying lives by telling people things they have no business knowing. You only tell them the surface. You need to change, and these things are corrupting your life. That is it. That is all. So it bothers me when I come across people who are, self-help. You don't even got your life together. So who are you to go and try to self-help someone that you've never gone to school for it? You don't got a degree in it. There's no certification that says you're qualified to do this. You've never gone through anything real to be helping someone that's in really serious need of help. You're ruining someone when you think you know what you're doing and never had education on it. And you can ruin a life by doing that. Yeah. Spirit work is no different. If you do not know what you're doing, and if you were not meant to do this, do not do it, because you will destroy lives. It's detrimental. So it frustrates me when I see people jump into something because it's a trend, or jump into something because a lot of people are doing it and they're getting paid and they're making money. But you don't know what you're doing. And you can ruin a life by doing something you think is cool for the moments. That's frustrating.
Yeah, that's why it's like I try to steer in the opposite direction of everything. I don't like doing something that anybody can feel like they can do. You know what I'm saying? But even though there are some things that people just don't feel like they could do with God, because all they see is the outside of it, because they're not spiritually connected to it. You even realize nothing you just said, right? It's like all they see is some sage, some oil, sage, some beads,
I hear the spirits, and they're telling me that is not how that works.
And all they doing is really an ego trip.
Hey, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just, it's very bad, but they will reap what they sow on soul there,
Yeah.
It never works out long term.
You got to have it built in you. Coaching, for me, it's like coaching and spirituality kind of go hand in hand for me, because I care for people on an empathetic level. But then I'm very empathetic because I'm an empath. So I understand energy. I feel energy. But then I also get this sensory. So I see, hear, feel things, and that might sound strange, but when I connect with people and spirit is trying to work with me in a certain way, or if I feel that they're in need of some service, I get a tug in my heart, or I get senses in my body that kind of tell me, hey, they're in need of something. Sometimes I do get a sound with those loud buzzings you get in your ear. When you focus on it, you can hear what they're trying to tell you. And sometimes they show projections of things, kind of looking at a black and white movie, and it's kind of showing glimpses and pieces of something. So that's kind of like how I see when spirit is trying to show me something or trying to tell me something that I need to pay attention to. I get glimpses of images or animals or something that may be familiar to them. So a lot of the time when I am talking to someone, and I am talking about the spiritual side of thing, and it does go hand in hand with how I can help them healing with my coaching. I do bring up these things, and I would let them know depending on what the situation is. I seen most recent thing, I can say is one that I did some years back where a female came by me. She asked me to borrow my phone. I let her use it. In the process of that happening, I ended up getting presented by a man that was in front of me, and he was telling me his name was Andre, and I will never forget this because it stayed with me. It was on the street. It was a random thing. She came to ask me my phone, and spirit doesn't have boundaries. And so it said, I waited till she got off the phone and she handed back. I kind of told her, hey, are you open to strange things? And she was like, yeah. And I said, okay, so, you have someone around you, Andre? She instantly knew I was talking about me. And I said, he's showing me something to do with cupcakes. And she was like, she just had her birthday recently and they gave her cupcakes. I guess that's his way of saying that he was there at that moment. My legs are literally getting goosebumps as I'm talking about it. So, and then I mentioned that, he wanted to tell her that he was sorry for how she found him. And he was never meaning for her to find him in that way. And when I looked at her, I said, can you kind of specify what it is that it's talking about? And she says, well, I walked in the bathroom and I found him dead on the floor. She found him. And so he didn't want her to find him like that. And I guess it was affecting the brother because at the same time, he was saying that he had mentioned the month of April and that something was supposed to be coming up. That was a mom's birthday was going to be coming up in April. And that something about someone struggling with, what they were experiencing with this passing. And they're kind of going back and forth with themselves debating on what they want to do with their lives, whether they want to, go to school or maybe go back to church. And the brother was kind of going back and forth with one of the two things because he was kind of lost at the moment. But I was able to pick up on all this information. This is just how I work when it comes to people. It's always different every time. Sometimes I channel. Sometimes I can pick up who the energy is and they kind of just step in a little bit and they'll talk and say something. So sometimes I might not sound like myself completely, or I might say things that resonate with the person that I'm working with because they needed to hear that. Right. Sometimes people ask spirit to say, hey, I need confirmations before I get there to make sure that you're talking to me. And so I'll say things or I'll do something and that'll catch them right there. That's caught them because it's what they were waiting for, what they needed to prove that I have that ability. So I've always been this way. I work this way with people. I've always been very sensitive to energies, and maybe it is the near-death experiences that I've had. But I use that hand in hand when it comes to my coaching. So in a lot of ways, this is what helps me to navigate my coaching with other people because my spiritual aspect of things and my coaching go hand in hand. I just know what people need. I know how they can heal. I sometimes relay messages that it helps them on their healing process. And this is how I kind of spiritually and emotionally, I know how to help those in the future that are going to be in need by this umbrella foundation. This was something that came to me and said,